Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
Yeah, hey everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to another episode of Hypecast.
Hypecast.
Show we get hyped about stuff.
Wee.
I'm your co-host, Tom Ryman.
I'm the other co-host, David Bell.
And I'm guest Starline Hodge.
Hi, Star.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm okay.
Are you well?
Yeah.
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 Are you well? Is the world treating you all right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
How's your day been?
Relatively speaking,
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
perfect.
It could be better. It could always be.
Could
always
way
be better.
Can always be better.
Yeah. This I agree. I agree on this thing. Should we look
Yeah,
at
we should
trailers?
dive right into these
I wanna
goddamn
dive
trailers.
right
Do it.
in. First Man.
First man.
Ryan Gosling goes to the moon.
Yeah, he's playing Neil Armstrong.
I
My-
like the aesthetic of the trailer a lot.
It looks good. It's the person.
La La Land guy.
Yeah, which I think
La La Land
I
Whiplash guy.
I haven't seen Whiplash, but I hear it's very good, and I need to see it. So, and La La Land I thought was trash. So, like, could go either way.
I've only seen the one scene in La La Land
Yeah.
because it was like, oh, okay, but I never went back to watch the whole thing. I have a feeling I'd like it in the general sense of like, oh, it's a fine musical, but I don't think I like it doesn't particularly appeal to me.
Yeah.
Do you know if he wrote it as well?
If you wrote First Man,
La La Land.
I think so.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Because he's a great director. So La La Land is really well directed. It's just so. I think the problem with La La Land was the hype plus the story was very
Yeah, if it was
boring.
a cult movie, I'd probably love it.
Yeah. And it was
Yeah.
that where it's like, oh, hey, another musical about working in the industry that the Academy is fucking jizzing itself over.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like The Artist all over again.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure after a little bit of time,
That's the Hollywood jizz
we'll
sound.
forgive it a little bit, or it'll drop off the face of the earth like The Artist.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I said that my comment on this is that the trailer is trying really hard to make it look suspenseful, and I keep being like, it's the moon landing. Like, they got to the moon, and I never heard of anything going wrong with the moon landing.
Not with the actual mission, but I mean, there's the Apollo program has some harrowing moments.
Yeah.
Like they show
They
the
show-
Gus Grissom's death.
Yeah, and I get that.
the
There's a lot
trailer.
of moments of people being like, you know, the wife being all scared and stuff, but then they have a few shots of them going to space and they try to make it seem like something goes wrong or
Yeah.
like, and it was just like, guys, calm down. Like, I don't know, after Apollo 13, it's hard. Like, that's the story.
See, I thought it worked for me. I was just like, I know everyone
Yeah, they're
turns
all
out
fine.
fine.
They're
I
all
know
fine.
they're fine.
Yeah.
Right.
Buzz Aldrin's still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was on Twitter this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not
So-
just fine, they live to a very full
Yeah,
age.
Neil Armstrong just died.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I appreciate how they built up the tension because I'm like, oh, you got me. I'm actually feeling slightly nervous, even though I know it's gonna be okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But and also I think the little moment they showed with him having to talk to his kids, I'm like, oh, that's,
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's actually I'd like to know that aspect of it. I like the idea
Yeah.
of knowing what the families were going through at the time.
Yeah.
I think it's worth, because even you can deride it by saying what Dave is saying. That's like, well, there's no suspense to the story, but like I think there's value in exploring like all aspects of just like, you know, the Apollo program in general, and this is like it's like it seems like routine to us now,
Right,
like
and
50 years later, but it's like so fucking crazy that they were like, let's go to the moon, and
Right.
it's like, yeah, but yeah, and like a scene where he has to sit down and tell his kids like, I could fucking die, like
Yeah.
instantly
Yeah,
if something goes wrong.
That
It's-
one, I was just like, oh, how
Yeah.
do you? and then they cut it before he actually says it, which I'm like, I actually do want to know what he said, or like, I mean, the script is probably not exactly what he said to his kids.
Yeah, well, no.
But I'd like to see that moment captured, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think
and I hope movies like this inspire people to be like, why don't we go back to the let's do some more cool space shit that's not like Space Force.
That's not the fucking Space Force.
Like,
let's get a Space Force base, moon
under the jurisdiction of the Air Force.
I feel like that there's no harm in doing that. Let's go.
Yeah, why not? Well, I think someone online pointed out there hasn't been a woman on the moon yet. So it's like, let's get that going, right?
That would be rad.
That would be nice. Like, why not?
Sure.
No, it's sort of disingenuous for me to say like, it's a boring story, because it is them going to space to the moon. But like in terms of like just like movie nerd narrative, I'm just like, I don't know, man.
Well, it's the same. Well, yeah.
Apollo 13, it was like, yeah, we know they make it out, but it was like such a crazy story that it was like, I want to hear it. But that said, I don't know everything about the moon landing, and maybe they will enlighten me. You know, and like you guys are saying, it is more about just that time and NASA in general, and I hope they cover that.
I'm sure it looks like they're going to cover at least parts of it. And also, we're sort of the age where the moon landing and all the Apollo programs and stuff, like, because we had Apollo 13 come out in like 95, right?
Yeah.
And then they did From the Earth to the Moon a few years later.
Yeah.
So like the Apollo program was like super zeitgeisty for like 10 years there, for like all the way through like my teens and like early 20s. So it's like, it seems like, oh, we're going back to the moon, but it's like, you got to remember that it's like there's a whole generation of people where that's like not been in pop culture at all.
I
like,
love that our nostalgia is movies about people going to the moon, and not actually people going to the moon.
We're of that age, man. It's not our fault.
It's just funny that our parents are like, yeah, I remember when these things actually happened.
70s, like I didn't see the goddamn moon landing in the 60s.
I know. Yeah, I'm just saying.
I mean, none of us were, or at least we were just born when the Challenger thing happened.
85.
I don't know.
84, 85, around there.
It is a shame. I assume it had something to do with those rock monsters. We never went back.
Right. The Apollo
18, that movie.
They're rocks on the moon that grow legs and kill people.
Oh, that's awesome. We should go back and bring those rocks back.
We should bring those rocks back.
Well, that's how it ends, is them talking about how we brought back
how many moon rocks there are.
Have you seen that movie, Star?
No, of course not.
It's dumb.
It's dumb, but it does have a few moments that I was like, oh, this could have been a really good like psychological horror film, because it's building to like a psychological horror film with people on the moon and like something's haunting them essentially, and then it turns out to be rock monsters,
spider rocks.
Yeah, spider rocks, and it was just like,
I want one. That sounds amazing. Although genuinely, I would love to own a moon rock if that's possible. Let me know.
I'm sure there are ways.
I mean, there was that guy that famously stole a bunch.
Someone send Star a moon rock.
Send me a moon rock, or let's get the space program back going to the moon so they could bring back a ton of moon rocks. That's the thing.
You'd think just a company would be like, hey, let's go get all them moon rocks and sell them.
Oh man, the crystal industry would go nuts.
Would go
oh my
fucking
god, that would be. I mean, I just want one.
NASA's like complaining about lack of funding. Come on, NASA, sell some
of those moon rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you have to do. Problem solved.
Fucking
You're welcome.
Sell a seat on the next space shuttle to some rich asshole. Who cares?
Yeah.
That's how you're going to get to the moon, man.
It's true.
That private money.
No, it's the rock monsters. They don't want to go back.
Lance Bass wanted to go to space.
He was supposed to,
with
but
the Virgin company, right?
Yeah, and then the flight got grounded for some reason. I don't remember why.
Oh. Yeah, let's figure this out. Make it like commercial. I wanted the commercial space program to happen, because I'm like, okay, then maybe by the time like I'm 80, they'll be safe enough that it's just like, you want to take a casual trip to space? I'd be like, yes, please.
You can throw down $300 or whatever, and it's like,
it'd be come on. I would like to go, but I am not a math person, and I'm definitely not physically trained to do it. But I would want to go at some point.
I am not, what's the word, an astronaut.
No. Yeah.
So, this movie will probably be good. It looks good. I mean,
looks really
like
pretty.
visually, it looks
good.
Yeah,
it's a good director, so I don't know. It's a compelling story. Obviously, I think they're going for the Oscars. I think it's going to be.
Has he won one yet? What's his name?
Gosling? No, he's been nominated, but he hasn't won.
Has he earned one yet? I'm trying to think of.
Lars and the Real Girl.
Oh yeah, he
What
was pretty good in that.
What about the Drive? I didn't see
Drive. He's real good.
He's not a bad actor at all, but he's never. I can't remember a performance of his that's like blown me away.
The two that I just named, Lars and the Real Girl and Drive, were the ones that I was like, oh shit, he's like a person.
Yeah, he is good in
Like,
Drive. Yeah.
he's-
I liked him
good.
in the funny 60s.
The Nice Guys?
Yeah.
That's a
Oh
great
yeah,
movie.
he's so good.
I
in that.
really enjoyed him in that movie. I was just like, okay, I see why people like this guy.
Yeah.
He's fun. I did not like The Notebook, so I was kind of tainted with him for a
Right.
bit.
Fun
Yeah.
tidbit about the Nice Guys that I just learned. You remember when he's at the party and he falls down the hill and finds the dead guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Robert Downey Jr.
Really?
Yeah,
The dead guy's already
yeah,
dead?
yeah, because he was in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, the director Shane Black's.
Oh,
Oh, well, they're friends.
Yeah, they're friends. He was Iron Man 3, Shane Black directed. So yeah, that is apparently Robert
Oh,
Downey
that's
Jr. is the
funny.
corpse.
I just watched that too. I need
Yeah.
to watch it.
It's
What a
pretty neat.
delightful tidbit.
Yeah. A great little cameo. I just learned that.
That's all I want to be in. Like, I want to be friends with famous directors so I could be corpses.
Yeah,
in
they can put
movies.
you
That'd
in
be
the movie
fun.
as a completely unrecognizable corpse.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's fun.
So all right, let's go to the next one.
Yeah, what's the next
Front
one?
runner.
Oh yeah, okay, so I saw the headline announcing this trailer.
Yeah.
And the first it's like Hugh Jackman is tangled up in a political sex scandal, and I was like, oh no! Not you too,
Yeah.
Hugh!
Oh wait, so you thought it was a
Yeah,
real?
I thought it was
that's
a real thing.
That's like such a clickbaity thing for them to do.
And then I found out it was a movie and was very relieved.
Right.
I clicked on all these links without reading what you wrote or any of like the description. I was just like, I'm going in blind.
Mm.
And clicked on that, and so the first thing when he first pops up, and it's just, I was like, oh, I was like, what is his head?
Yes.
Man, he's
And
got
I
some
just-
rockin'
I
Michael
just
Dukakis hair.
laughed for a good 30 seconds, so I missed a chunk of the trailer because I was
This is
so distracted.
The
by his
most
hair.
aware of his hair to the point where I had to ask myself, like, does he have hair normally? Does Hugh Jackman have hair? Like, I had to go back and remember
Yeah.
because there's something about this trailer where it's just like, look, he's hair. Yeah, he's
It's
all hair.
wafted. It's
yeah.
just like
It's
buoyant.
It's
and
full
like,
on 80s Donnie. No, not
It's
Donnie.
crazy because he's-
Dukakis.
Played Wolverine, a man with much more noticeable hair, and yet that hair seems like more natural than this hair.
Yeah.
Like,
He's got real Ted Koppel hair.
yeah.
And then with the mix, I mean, mind you, they like I want to say like the costume design is A+ in this movie.
Yeah.
It looks great.
Because what he's wearing, I'm like, oh, it's like it's fitting him, but it doesn't fit him. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh wait, that's the 80s. That's on point. And I visually really liked it. Story wise, I don't know.
I don't.
Well, it's an actual dude, and I think it was like the first instance of like a scandal like this. I think was the issue,
I don't know.
or where it was like treated like, because like I mean they were around, but there was sort of like, I'm talking out of my ass right now, so somebody at
Sure.
home can please tell me I'm wrong.
I mean, we talk out of our asses.
But like I'm pretty sure up until this point there was like a tacit agreement.
That no one brings up on
Right, like the press wouldn't talk about certain things because like fucking John F. Kennedy was
yeah, and everybody seemed to
nailing
know.
broads left and right. Yeah, and everybody seemed
this
to know,
was
but
the
like
first
nobody
time
reported
the press
on it.
was just like, you know
Yeah,
what?
this is the first time we're like, and you see it in the trailer where that guy's like, well, yeah, I am serious.
Right.
Like, what do you?
I'm excited to see Hugh Jackman act because
Yeah,
I'm not saying he hasn't acted lately, but I had looked in his IMDb because that was the other part. Is like, man, like my two questions was, does Hugh Jackman have hair normally? Because his hair was just like really standing out. And then the other was like, does Hugh Jackman act in things be it that isn't Wolverine or him singing?
Yeah.
And I went back and looked through it, and it has been since 2013, the movie Prisoners. But he doesn't normally, like most of his IMDb, he doesn't really play real people. He plays like Captain Hook or Wolverine or somebody singing.
Didn't he? Wasn't he in the robot boxing movie?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Real
him?
Steel.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which
I was
again
just-
is a
I'm trying to
robot
think of-
boxing movie. Like, I guess what I mean is it's rare to see him play a human who exists in like our reality.
Yeah, that's true. He's always in sort of. I mean, he's excellent in all. Like,
Yeah, he's not a bad
Les
actor.
Miserables, he's great.
Yeah, it's just that thing of like, I don't know. There was something like,
Yeah, he's not
shocking
usually in like the
about
real
it.
world.
I wonder
Yeah.
if it's like what people just offer him.
yeah, I think
you
so.
know? And maybe this was like finally he just was like talking to his agents. Was like, hey, can I get like something a little bit more?
Right.
That might have been- yeah,
he
'cause he
doesn't
just-
get to be relatable. that much in movies.
Yeah, that's true.
Like he doesn't get to be
made
a regular.
And he's
fucking
probably
person.
just tired of like, I really don't want to bulk up or exercise a lot.
Yeah.
Can I just get a movie
just
where
be
I'm
a
just
guy.
a dude?
Yeah,
And yeah, it makes sense because he just finished doing Wolverine forever, and
unless he gets in on that
unless he gets in on
Deadpool
that
3
sweet Avengers pie.
or Avengers. Yeah,
He should.
He should be in Deadpool.
Oh
it's
my
gonna kill him
God.
though. Playing Wolverine is gonna kill him because he dehydrates himself every time. That's how he looks all
to get
weird
all
and
swole
muscular.
for
Yeah,
his
he
shirtless
doesn't
scenes.
get swole. It's that thing that actors do now, where instead of bulking up, they like dehydrate.
So all their muscles
So
just
all
look
their
more
mu-
intense?
Yeah, it's like a
Oh.
new technique that they use, like just to get actors to look halfway swole. And he did it for that. He did it for Les Miserables, but for kind of a different reason, I think. In that one, I don't know if he's swollen. Then I think he's just
You don't
supposed to be
really ever
skinny.
see him without a
I think
shirt
he's
on.
supposed to be just skinny.
Yeah. Anyway,
But yeah,
so this is a movie about Gary Hart, I think.
okay.
And I was like, I don't know who this guy
Yeah,
is.
I have no idea what
Something
this movie's
hard.
about.
Yeah, it seems like it's a sex scandal. And I just kept thinking, I'm like, are people going to care about this?
I think part of the Gary Hart. I think part of the point of the movie. It's directed by Jason Reitman, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that's what excites me. That's gonna be great.
I think part of the reason they're making this movie is kind of like making the movie itself. I think is a piece of commentary
Yeah.
because it's about like the first time that this was, a thing, and that people cared about it, and now it's just like with what's going on right now, it's like people don't even deny it. Like fucking president
Yeah.
is not even trying to deny it happened.
No, the president
Like-
is just trying to make sure we know he didn't use his campaign money for the bribe.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I used my personal money for the bribe, and that's what we're doing now.
Yeah.
That's
I think that's
insane.
why, I'm wondering if it's gonna have the impact that it seems to want to have. Like, remember when we used to care,
I don't know.
or is it just kind of like, I don't know. Like, it was just like, I don't know how. I think it just makes things more depressing.
Yeah, there's a
just
few
like,
movies
hey.
like this. The Post was like this too, where it feels like these filmmakers kind of sticking it to Trump by making these like historic pieces that are somewhat related. I liked The Post, but I see why people didn't watch it. It's very boring movie. But yeah, I wonder the same thing. I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure if it's going to be relevant or not. I think Jason Reitman's a good director, and he does comedy / drama well. So
And again, it looks like another like visually interesting.
I think it's
movie.
gonna.
Like,
I
it
think
looks
it's gonna
pretty.
be. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good movie.
yeah, I think it's going to be a good movie. It's just a matter of will people go see it.
Yeah, it's got a good cast.
Yeah,
It's got Hugh.
Yeah.
It's got Mrs. Bates.
it does.
Yeah, Vera Farmiga.
Oh yeah,
I probably butchered her name. J.K. Simmons.
J.K.
We got
Simmons.
J. Jonah Jameson in this shit.
yeah. Well, he's in everything.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the next movie.
What's the next movie?
It's called The Other Side of the Wind.
Yes.
It is a Orson Welles film.
Starring fucking John Huston.
Yeah. This
Like-
movie, for people who don't know, I wrote about it briefly on Cracked. It was a movie made in, I think, the 70s or
Yeah.
something, right before Orson Welles died, and he turned in a 45-minute work print. And
Was this the one that they had found more footage of?
maybe
Recently?
that's possible, yeah. There's about 10 hours of raw footage, and I think they're going to use the 45 minutes that Orson Welles personally edited, and then they expanded on it.
Yeah, it sort of extrapolate what maybe the film was supposed to be
Yeah, the
based
things
on that.
things that were missing was like he was supposed to record voiceover with one of the actors, and that never happened. There's a few things that never got filmed, but the movie was in pieces but more or less complete, it sounds like.
Mhm.
I heard at one point that they were going to use CGI to like fill in the blanks, but I don't know if there's been several attempts to make this movie now.
Mhm.
Like I wrote about it 4 years ago, and I think this isn't the same people. Because
Trying to
like a
complete it.
company bought the footage and then they've been trying to. And now Netflix
Or maybe
is releasing it.
maybe they did and they're releasing it through Netflix.
Right, yeah.
See, this is the most information I've heard about Orson Welles in general. Like when I hear Orson Welles, I'm like, oh, famous person. Like
Citizen
I don't.
Kane.
Yeah, but even then, I'm like, I've never watched any of his movies.
If you
So
go
I have
and-
zero context outside of I've heard that name before.
Right.
And so when I watch the trailer, I'm like, I have
Do you get
no
the-
idea what I'm looking at right
Yeah,
now.
the general
I
gist is it's about a really crazy filmmaker.
It's about Orson Welles.
Yeah, it's about Orson Welles as played by John
See,
Huston.
I couldn't
Yeah.
tell. I was like, is this a documentary? But it's like all old footage. And I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, is this a movie about the movie that didn't get made? Like, I couldn't figure out what I was looking at on the screen. And then I was like, I think I'm supposed to go do research on Orson Welles. Like, I should probably know who, like, way more about this person.
Yeah, you should watch Citizen Kane because you don't need to. I mean,
I know it's like the #1 movie.
he didn't
like,
direct The Third Man, did he? He's just in it.
That I don't know.
Okay. The Third Man is also extremely good. It's that thing when, like, you hear about old classic movies, and I had a phase in my life where I did this with, like, Casablanca and, like, The Third Man and like Harvey and stuff like that, where you hear about him for so long, and then you go and watch them, and you're like, oh, right, that's why they're famous, because they're still very good movies. So, like, Citizen Kane is, like, a cliche of, like, the best movie of all time, like, that kind of crap. Yeah. And it's might not be the best movie of all time, but when you go back and watch it, you're like, oh, shit.
I see why.
Yeah.
Have you seen?
This is a very good movie.
I wanted to go to Hearst Castle before I watched it, because that was like one of the
Xanadu?
like I just wanted to go and be like, okay, I know this location is important to this movie, but I want to see it and then go back. I want to kind of work backwards.
Right.
Like,
have you seen There Will Be Blood?
No.
Because I was going to say There Will Be Blood is essentially Citizen Kane.
Yeah, it is.
But so like the story of Citizen Kane is not really why it's as remarkable. Like the point of Citizen Kane is that it invented a lot of modern filmmaking, like the idea of different shots and angles and lighting and shit. Like a lot of old movies that you've probably seen, it's just kind of they park the camera and it's like they're filming a play.
Yeah.
So
I assume it's similar to like how The Matrix affected a lot of like
very much so,
and graphics and stuff. But when you go back to The Matrix now, you're like, oh, okay. But at the time,
it seems very rote. But yeah, like at the time, like people were like, what the?
Right. But what's insane about this was just how far after his death to see a movie trailer, a modern trailer that's like from Orson Welles, director of Citizen Kane.
The mind behind.
Yeah, and it was like, whoa.
Which is a very 2018 like way to like push a movie.
And then finally, it's a found footage film, which was made. Yeah. He made it in the was Cannibal Holocaust the first found footage film? There's probably something
it's
before
credited as being that.
Yeah, but it's insane that like Orson Welles essentially probably had
started a genre.
Yeah,
he's well, it's kind of two because it's a found footage film that's about the making of. It's like a film within a film. It's a found footage film about the making of a
meta film.
I was just like, wait, I was like, are these people playing Orson Welles? Like, I was just so thrown off by how it was presented because I'm like,
it's jarring. I think that this is a movie for nerds.
Yeah,
This is a movie for movie nerds.
It's also, I just find it amazing because I love the idea of like watching a Netflix found footage film by Orson Welles.
Starring John Huston!
Yeah. Because most of the Netflix found footage films I watch are
fucking
very good.
Heated garbage. Just microwaved liquid trash.
I do want to watch this with you guys so I could like understand because I would like to see your reactions and like, how you're taking it because I'd be like, okay.
Sure. Yeah.
The other thing is it looks fucking crazy.
It does.
Like the footage that they have in this is just like, it looks not like nonsense. I couldn't follow
I was
in the trailer.
I was sort of following it.
Oh, really? I just had known the plot beforehand, so
it's just like helped. I didn't know the plot, but it seems John Huston is playing this kind of out of control director that's just like squandering the studio's money making a movie that he's just like nobody knows what the movie is, nobody knows what he's doing,
but he's done it before.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking Peter Bogdanovich is in this movie. It is insane to see a trailer for a new movie and it's like starring John Huston. Yeah. I'm like, he's been dead for decades.
It's so weird. There's a few of the people, like, I guess it had a small premiere, and they had like the surviving cast there. I read it. It was the surviving cast. Alive? I don't know. It was a small handful of surviving cast. Quentin Tarantino, of course. Like a bunch of fairly known directors. This was on the Wikipedia of them listing, and Crispin Glover. It's like, what is Crispin Glover doing there?
They invited Crispin Glover?
Yeah. I don't know if they invited him. I don't know if anybody invited Crispin Glover, but he was there.
Oh, yeah, Peter Bogdanovich is he's apparently on the Get Shorty TV show.
It's weird. Like, what if it gets, like, nominated, and then one of the actors is, like, 90 and accepts, like, thanks, I guess. I don't remember this.
Right?
I don't know.
It's when it's released? Well, they'd have to release it in theaters, right?
Yeah, Netflix
Yeah,
is
they've got weird rules.
absolutely going for the Oscars this year, which we'll get to.
Which we'll get to, definitely.
But yeah, this is like there was a Marlon Brando documentary where it's like this
Like
is
the Isle of Dr. Moreau.
that Marlon Brando, yeah. But it's so weird. It's a Marlon Brando documentary narrated by Marlon Brando, because what they did is they found at his estate he had kept a recorded diary for years, and so
that's amazing.
after he died, they just used the diaries to narrate.
They did the same that Kurt Cobain documentary on HBO.
Is it narrated by him?
narrated by Kurt Cobain.
It's so fucking weird. It's such a cool. Like, it's crazy that these things happen, that we're seeing an Orson Welles film.
You have to get a certain kind of, well, I mean, yeah, that for the narration parts, you have to get a certain kind of personality.
Yeah,
for
Marlon
somebody.
Brando's definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure his diaries
God,
were
imagine
fucking phenomenal.
if YouTube and vlogging and all that stuff existed during the time period that these people were
Right.
would be like, or have access to something like that.
Yeah.
What would have happened to them?
Making documentaries about now is going to be hell in the future. Like, people trying to make a documentary on Trump, they're going to have so much fucking footage to go through.
They're just
now.
going to ask Cody for all the vlogs.
All
I'm
the-
like, I heard you downloaded all these. Do you have them?
That he might be sitting on something there.
Honestly,
Oh my
He's
God.
got these vlogs.
I hope Cody has gone through all of them, because
Yes!
it would be amazing
He
if
did
there was
it-
just some confession on one of them. That we...
No, he did it for the video that he did
Right.
on Cracked. But yeah, he's got all of them, and he has watched every minute of them.
That's why he is
Because he's a
how
little
he is.
ghoul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next
So
one?
yeah, we can go on to the next one.
Yeah.
Are we sure? We sure? You sound
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
have something.
No. I'm just jazzed about watching a movie with
Orson Welles.
by Orson
And
Welles with John Huston. I
John
love John
Huston,
Huston.
That's real fucking weird.
Yeah, it's crazy.
True Detective season 3.
Ooh, I mean, again, trailer indecipherable.
Yeah, I was like, it's just looking at Mahershala looking nice. I was like, oh, it looks good.
Yeah.
Looks
Yeah,
real good.
all this is to show what the characters look like. That's the extent of
Yeah,
this.
then he's only on like a couple of shots. But man, fucking Steven Dorff's hair. It's like shock white.
Yeah,
And,
it's
like,
exciting.
I'm so excited for this.
I'm excited.
I'll watch it.
I mean,
I never saw the first season. That's what's
Really?
funny. Yeah.
Oh, we gotta
It's
watch
the
the
best
first
I watched the
season.
second season with you guys,
I remember.
and then we always I think even then I was just like, I never watched the first season. Like, we got to go back and do it. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm only watching this in a group. I will not watch the show on my own.
The
That's fair.
reason True Detective is a thing is because of that first season.
I
Yeah.
know, which is funny because I'm like, the second season was just like, it was fine. I don't get the big deal
Right.
about this show. Just everybody,
I would.
like, it was okay.
Yeah, it was very okay.
I think what this might be an issue with True Detective is I feel like, yes, the writing is important, but it almost felt like the reason the first season did good was it's
It was
almost
well acted.
80% on Woody
McConaughey's
Harrelson and McConaughey. Yeah. Like, that made it.
That's the best he's ever been.
Yeah, and I would argue that Colin Farrell was very good in season 2.
Yeah,
and
it's just-
I'm like one of the only people who enjoyed.
Well, my
season 2.
problem with season 2, and I hope they sort of do a little bit of a course correct with season 3, is that season 2 the mystery doesn't matter,
Right.
And it's not really solved, and it's not really resolved.
Right, and that's the only thing.
Yeah.
It's just
But I like the I love it whenever Vince Vaughn is serious.
Vince Vaughn's character, I still feel like I was just like, oh, that was such an unsatisfying like ended
Very
for his character.
yeah.
That I was
Really?
like,
because you get so hyped for a second when he's like, "We're gonna get all the guns and kill these people." I'm like, "Fuck yeah,
Yeah.
get him, Frank!"
I guess I
and
like.
then it was just like, oh, you don't
And
come out on top at
No.
all. You don't even come
Yeah.
out sideways on
It's-
this, and
it
it was
gets-
just such a sad like. Oh, and then like, I mean, it didn't work out for anybody. Right?
Yeah, that's-
Everybody was
No,
just
the
like,
only
Well,
person that gets away is Rachel McAdams.
That's kind of what I liked about it, because season 1 of True Detective, it was almost a twist that nothing.
I haven't seen it.
Oh yeah, that's true. I almost spoiled season 1.
Tom just like put a hand up and was just like,
Yeah.
no.
I got very close to putting a finger to Dave's lips.
Oh, the people watching know where I was going, and then season 2 is. I guess not that different, but it goes in different directions. That's what I liked about
I
season
mean, they're both
2.
bleak.
Was that they're both bleak, but they go in crazy directions, and I don't want season 3 to just be okay, nobody likes season 2, so let's just do season 1 again.
I just want what I love so much about season 1 as the performances, like I said, McConaughey is just incredible, and Woody Harrelson's really good too, and also like the mystery is like good and creepy and engaging, and like it's like about like some water and land dispute in the second season, and it just winds up not mattering.
Season 2 was just like it was like a weird local political.
Yeah.
But when it did get creepy, when they did like the culty, like super rich party,
yes,
like,
I guess
the people trafficking stuff, I was just like, this is actually really interesting. I wish they would focus more on.
That's kind of that's a lot. Like
I guess
the first
what I liked
is.
about that is that it was for season 2, it reminded me of Chinatown or The Two Jakes, which is the
sequel
where those are both about I think Chinatown's about a water dispute.
It is.
Two Jakes is about a land dispute. So I thought they were doing like an homage to that a little bit or
Still
something.
got to have some mystery, man.
Yeah, I know what you mean about the mystery. I liked a lot of the acting and a lot of the execution of things.
Sure.
I liked when the Vince Vaughn in the desert. Like I liked how they did that. I thought it was creepy.
It was very creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh no, like damn it.
And I like if it's the fact that it's an anthology. I get what you mean. Is again, anthologies should have something tying them all together.
Right. There needs to be a common theme. Yeah.
But like, I like that they're gonna be different as much as they can each time.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the theme that they're detectives? Is that really
True
the
detectives.
The theme seems to be, and that meme is so beat to death. Like every time the show comes back on, somebody's like, "Oh, they're gonna find out who the true detective is." And like, it's very funny. Yeah,
I still love the. Did you see the sketch? This doesn't spoil season 1, the Yellow King sketch.
No.
Where there was this whole thing of who is the Yellow King, which doesn't mean anything, unless you watch the show. And someone did like a video essay of like figuring out who the Yellow King was. It might have been like The Onion, where they're like, if you look really closely in these shots, and they just superimpose a guy dressed as a Yellow King in the background and just dancing and like walking through. It's just a really good.
There was a good meme of people just photo. They remember when they're interrogating him, they show him that one picture of Rust. So there was a good meme of people just superimposing Rust into the background of different like historical photos. The thing that seems to tie them together is it's a mystery that jumps time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
which they clearly show you in this one. There's a little bit of not
a little
in the second
like
season.
Spiritual. Well, like the
cult. That's true. Yeah.
There's
some
like spirituality and like
sort of like the.
I've heard it called Lovecraftian, which I'm not.
The first season, yes, very much so.
Yeah.
It's that one. The Yellow King is from weird fiction, but
like urban legend-y kind of vibes, kind of thing.
Cosmic doom.
Okay.
Yeah, which is the best kind of doom.
Yeah,
okay, all right,
it's like real. It's we can't. Man, we gotta watch it.
It's skipping through time and stuff.
But
like
yeah,
that.
It jumps time, and they clearly show you that that's what's going to happen in this season because they go back and forth between young Mahershala and old Mahershala.
Which the makeup looked really cool.
Yeah,
Like, oh wow, good job, guys.
Yeah. They spent some money on that makeup. He looks old.
Yeah, so it's exciting.
And it's and then young Mahershala, you can tell like by his style and his hair that it's like this is maybe 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
And the cars too.
And the cars.
I would love it to do like ridiculous 80s, like really the most embarrassing
Miami Vice.
80s. Yeah.
Where it's literally Tubbs and Crockett.
God,
Put Tubbs and Crockett in True Detective.
That would be so good.
That would be so good.
Holy shit.
Yes. Oh
man.
That should just be a skit or just a. I need that to be a series in some existence.
Yes.
That'd be so good.
Oh man.
You gotta watch season 1 because season 1's also funnier than season 2. Like season 1's actually funny.
In some parts.
Because Matthew McConaughey is so over the top that they can't help but to have like Woody Harrelson be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like there's so many parts where he'll say something and he'll be like, you know what? No talking in the car anymore. Like it's like a buddy cop comedy almost.
I do wonder if like watching that's going to help me differentiate the two because for like, honestly for me, like they kind of look the same.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so when I'm imagining them in my head, they both are kind of like an amalgamation of like both.
Woody's bald, if that helps.
Well, not in the
but they have the same
flashbacks.
Not in the flashbacks.
They have the same eyeballs and the same like nose structure.
Right, and I think they're both from Texas. So
similar accents. They're about the same height. They're both like blonde. I don't.
They've never looked more the same than the flashbacks in True Detective season 1.
That's true. They do look very similar.
When they get older, they look different,
Okay.
but like it might be a bit of a challenge.
I mean, like once I see it and like once I like know their characters, I'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. But like just by visually, when I like it takes me. I'm like, which one is it?
You'll definitely tell the characters apart. Matthew McConaughey, he's joined the ranks of like Dale Cooper and Agent Mulder in that sense, like a really creepy agent
Okay.
who says really fucked up weird
Oh
stuff.
yeah, your tweets on X-Files. Like I think I've only watched the first season and a half.
Mulder is
The
such a
But
maniac.
every time I go back, when I see your, I was just like, oh my god.
Well, that's what's so much fun about the X-Files is that Mulder is a fucking goblin.
All right, here's the thing: is that the early season of the X-Files, whenever they get a case, there's always an unexplained reason. Like when the first Tombs episode, they're like, this guy was killed, but his door was locked and there's no entry, so we called you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's stuff like that where it's like we don't explain this.
Guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then as the seasons go, they forget to like put that detail in.
Like how they got here.
Yeah. So it was just them showing up at a crime scene. The one I watched last night, it was just a plastic surgeon like who goes crazy and kills a patient. And then they're just interviewing him, and I was like, "Why are they here?"
Yeah,
for
why
this?
is the FBI here?
And then he's just like, "I took sleeping pills, and I don't know what happened." And so Scully's just like, "Yeah, it sounds like he had some sort of mental breakdown." And then they're like in the surgery room looking, and there's indents on the ground, and she's like, "Looks like medical equipment." And he draws a pentagram, and he's like, "Or a pentagram," and it's like, what? This is just a
She's
guy
just
who
like-
took sleeping pills. And
Scully's like, Mulder, wait in the car.
yeah, and then he's right.
Of course, he's always right.
It's just so.
I think I've only watched like the new season that had come out and that first season and a half. So
I'm gonna get you and Adam Ganzer together, and we're gonna watch because he hasn't seen them either. He wants to see the 5 best episodes. I want to compile.
is
them.
one of them the one that was only aired once?
Home? I just watched that.
I don't know if that's one of the best, but it's.
I know of it because
It's
people talk about how it was only the one time, and they were like, people can't see it. Like this is.
I just watched it, and it's kind of remarkable in one sense is that I forgot how blasé Mulder and Scully are the whole time. Like for them, it's complete. It's like one of the most graphic and weird. It's about like an incest redneck family.
Yeah.
And it's basically Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
And Mulder and Scully just breeze through the episode. Like, for the most part, they're just like, oh, looks like they've been inbreeding and might have a woman kidnapped in there. We should just probably go there. And they just go to this, like, terrifying farm. And then one of the deputies gets decapitated by the booby trap. And then they're, cracking jokes. They make a joke about the movie Babe, like, 30 seconds after they've watched someone get decapitated by a booby trap. Like, it's almost like to show how desensitized Mulder and Scully are at that point.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's an interesting episode. Have you watched it recently?
Like a couple of years ago.
Oh,
I remember it pretty vividly, though. Anyway, we should move on.
Or we should talk about X-Files more.
I mean, we can do a whole other podcast where we just talk about X-Files.
Sure. Speaking of Lovecraftian, the Johnny English movie.
Mm-hmm.
Nah,
boy, if anything was about cosmic doom.
Yeah. Why?
This is the third Johnny English film.
Really? There's 3 of these?
There are 3 Johnny English movies, and they span decades.
Why?
Oh my god.
Who's watching them?
I don't know.
Is it England? Is this England's fault?
I mean,
And people
in a
like
broad
Mr.
sense,
Bean.
yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
I never took to him. He was him and Ernst, that guy.
Ernest.
It is like Ernest. Yeah, it's very similar.
Him and Ernest as a kid, they both like scared me because of the way like they kind of like their eyes were like they would pop their eyes open real wide, and it freaked me out. And also Mr. Bean was just one of those things when you're like a kid who like likes order and wants like just things to go right, and if you just follow the rules you'll be fine because you're a little kid and that's structure. So watching Mr. Bean was just very like anxiety inducing. You're a grown up and you're a disaster.
That's the thing. Ernest, like when you get older, and because I remember loving Ernest as a kid, and then you get older and you're like, what's wrong with him? Like,
well, he has
like
he has a developmental disablement or something. Like
yeah, like he's it's not
he
like
has a child's mind.
It's not like Pee-wee or not even like Mr. Bean where he's just like silly. Like Ernest, has a child's mind.
Pee-wee
at
least had like the talking furniture to make it like okay, he's a man cartoon.
He's some sort of demon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Ernst just came up to the screen and yelled at you, and I was just like, I don't know, I'm not about this as a child. But yeah, I don't know. Mr. What's his name?
Rowan Atkinson.
It must be kids, right?
I don't know. I mean, I think Rowan Atkinson is funny, but like
I do too. But I've never really liked anything he's in. Like, I think he's a funny person.
Hot Shots Part 2.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
The Lion King.
Yeah, okay, so he is.
Wait, he was in The Lion King?
He's Zazu.
He is Zazu.
Yeah.
Which is the new one going to be
that's
John
earned
Oliver.
him like at least 20 points
Yeah.
in my book. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
He even sings his part.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So-
That's warm.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I'm super
Aw.
excited for John Oliver.
John Oliver
in
plays
the new
Zazu in the new
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
so
that's
good.
So good.
Yeah. They nailed the
Oh.
casting.
They
like,
really did.
I think Pumbaa is what's his name?
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen. Yeah.
Oh, that works.
So it's just
Timon
like, yeah,
oh
of
my
course.
god. Yeah, that's
yeah.
perfect.
Billy Eichner is Timon.
Yeah, it's a really fun.
Really? I
Yeah.
don't know any of this casting.
Oh,
All
yeah.
of everything
Oh, it's
you're
great.
saying, I'm
Donald
like,
Glover is Simba.
oh, that I knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
was
love-
like, oh my god.
Is
yeah.
it still that Mufasa is in fact James
Mufasa
Earl
is just
Jones?
James Earl Jones.
Which
Because
is
they were like,
nice. Who else
fuck
is
it.
gonna-
It's so
Who's gonna do that voice?
such good because they're just like dream casting it, and they get to Mufasa and they're like, it's James Earl
James Earl
Jones.
Jones.
Yeah. It's so
Fuck
good.
it. Yeah. Chiwetel Ejiofor is Scar.
Right? Isn't
Oh, wow.
Eric Andre in that too?
I
I think he's one of the hyenas. Yeah.
All of
Yeah.
this.
It's
It's
fucking
an
dream
amazing.
casting.
Wonderful.
Fucking Beyonce's in it.
Yeah.
Beyonce plays Nala, right?
Either
or the mom.
She might be the mom.
It's like
I
the
can't
only.
remember.
It's
I
the
think
only
she's the mom.
justification for making this movie.
Just to get all these great voices
Yeah,
and to do
it's-
the soundtrack over again with
Yeah.
all these great voices.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
They're all fucking singers.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I
Like-
am so stoked for the soundtrack alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we move on from Mr. Bean?
Sure. No, Johnny English.
Johnny English.
It just looks.
Whatever.
I mean, I don't know. We have.
What's the
gosh.
difference? One talks, one doesn't.
Yeah, Mr. Bean does not speak.
Okay.
That was probably also off-putting to you as a
Yeah.
child.
I was just like, you're so stressful. Just
Um,
just take 2 seconds to take your time or look around you.
yeah, please, you disaster of a man. How did they get Emma Thompson in this movie? I don't know. Well, because it's
Money.
Rowan Atkinson. They're probably friends. All those British people are friends.
Yeah, it's some sort of British conspiracy
Mm-hmm.
to keep. I don't know. I don't know what.
I don't know.
I don't understand.
To
That's
keep
why I'm
making-
saying, like,
To make Johnny English movies
like,
once
I
every
think-
10 years.
what if this is like huge in England? Like, what if it's? I don't know.
I don't know.
The next thing we have is gameplay footage for a game called Cyberpunk.
Oh yeah,
2077, which has been it's in production for a while,
they were
based off a board game from like the 80s.
Oh yeah, it's based
I
off an
thought
old tabletop.
It seems like
Yeah.
it's based off of what's Shadowrun? It has
I think
that
they're
vibe.
adjacent.
Yeah.
They're very similar properties.
This is a-
that's my understanding anyway.
It's made by the people behind Witcher 3.
Yeah, CD Projekt Red.
Yeah.
In fact, a couple of years ago, when there was that, I mean, there's people still do it, but like there was that rash of hackers who were like stealing information and then ransoming it. I know this still happens, but
yeah,
you remember when
yeah.
there was like a burst of it happening
Yeah.
a lot? Some hacker stole a very early build of the game and tried to
Ah.
ransom it to Project Red, and they were like, well, that's like a version of the game that's like obsolete now.
That's
We're not giving you any
hilarious.
money for that." Like-
You know, you could keep
Those
it.
like I mean,
dummies.
but they made like a statement like, look, if this gets released, this is all stuff that this is like, because this game has been in development forever.
Yeah.
I was surprised that it was coming out. But yeah, they just came out and said, well, if it gets released, look, this is not at all resembling
Right.
even
Yeah, it
closely what
looks-
this game is now.
it
It
looks-
looks like Cyberpunk version of Grand Theft Auto. Like you just go around and you're like, you're a little punk person.
It looks
Skyrim.
fucking worth it. Yeah,
Very
you can
fucking
customize
Skyrim.
your look and your gender and everything about your character, and it's
Yeah,
an
all your
That's
RPG.
attribute
the only
points.
thing I would do in
And
this
you
game.
can,
to be
yeah.
honest.
Well, the only thing they're stressing,
She spends hours doing it.
yeah, the only thing they stress in that is like, yeah, the NPCs will like react differently of how you look, and you can sleep with them. That's like the only thing, the main
Oh,
things I read. So it's like, oh, do you do missions or anything? And it's like, oh no, you just like fuck virtual characters.
I skimmed through the video because it was like a 48
It's a
minute
Yeah,
video.
yeah.
And
There's like some shooting.
I was
jumped
just really
around.
surprised. I jumped around. I was just like, "Oh, there's just full on a naked lady in this video." And
Oh,
I was
yeah.
just like, "YouTube didn't flag this?"
YouTube has
It goes straight up like it's like boobs for a good 8
YouTube.
minutes of just like your help. Like she was on, and it was like weird because she was unconscious and hurt, and like the mission was to get
Right.
to like help.
That's not great.
So it's just somebody carrying a lady, and there's like a boob kind of wandering up and down the frame because you're holding her.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what's going on? But I'm like, I
YouTube
guess you're helping this woman. It's
Yeah.
not, but it's like, it's just weird. It was just
It's weird. There's some weird.
They have weird rules.
YouTube has weird rules, and
there's like
Project Red is infamous for having really weird sex scenes in the Witcher
Oh,
games.
The Witcher I heard was insane. I heard you're
It's-
like collecting women. Like it was like really
Sort of. You have to pick a woman. It's
okay.
Witcher 3 is an excellent game that is insane
problematic.
about yeah.
That's why I guess I that was one of the first things I checked because they kept saying like, yeah, and you get to sleep with people. So I was like, do you get to choose your gender? Because like that kind of is important.
Yeah, that was the first thing they didn't do.
Yeah.
They're like, by the way, this is the character thing. Look, and I was just like, oh, look at the customization. I was like, oh, you could just make yourself whatever you want to look like.
Yeah, because
that's so cool. I was like, this
be-
is where this is the first 3 hours of me playing this game, and then as soon as I have to go out and like shoot somebody, I'm gonna be like, oh, this isn't fun anymore.
Yeah, this is the type of game, because we stream a lot, this is the type of game I wouldn't want to stream because I'd want to just quietly play it because it just looks
this
so
is a game.
fun.
This is a game like Skyrim,
Yeah.
or like The Witcher 3 for me, where I just want to sit there,
Yeah, and just
like
be lost
in this
the
world
game.
for hours.
Yeah.
See, I was thinking the opposite. I'm like, I would want to stream this game playing it with people and just trying to figure out how we could just be bonkers in the world. Because otherwise, if on my own, I'd be like, man, I have like things I can do in real life right now.
Right.
But at least if it was hanging out with friends and we were just
I would accept two if you could save two different games because I would want to have like a throwaway stream character where I
Yeah.
can dress him up
Just like
like
a
a weird
maniac,
clown.
yeah.
But yeah, it depends on how good the game is. Whenever a game's in production for a while, that's always like I remember the Duke Nukem thing where it was in production for so long they had to keep like upgrading the graphics to the time. Like they like when something's in production for too long, it feels like it just falls apart.
It depends.
Yeah.
Like that's a different situation.
Yeah,
because
that's
that went that like it had to deal with like dev teams leaving and like it's same thing with like Aliens Colonial Marines,
Mhm.
like studios closing, and then like this has been the same team the whole time. It's just a game that's been
That's
they've been working
great.
on for a while.
Yeah, because I was
it
gonna
looks
say
like it would take forever to
Oh,
code.
yeah.
Like if they made it so that each person you interact with, like just a random NPCs or people you could have a whole story with, that's so much.
we've gotten to
Even just a basic algorithm that's like, okay, if you've done XYZ, like like the basic version of what they do in Fable, where like people react to you depending on how good or
Right.
evil you are.
Yeah.
and I love the idea of developers spending like 5 years or even more developing like a really rich, detailed world.
That's kind of what they do.
Yeah, and
It
it's
looked very
and the
pretty,
fact
so
that like
I was like, oh,
graphics
wow.
don't update drastically as much anymore, I feel like they are able to do that. I don't know how game making
Well, I mean,
games work.
they sent like I know the 3 Witcher games, I think took like 10 years to all come out.
Wow.
Like they cooked that shit for a while.
Yeah, this is
Again, talking out of my ass.
Yeah.
This is just from my memory of when those games came out.
Yeah. It's very exciting though. I can't wait to be a Cyberpunk.
Yeah, I want it to feel like a D&D game.
Yeah.
I want it to be like, okay, I'm going to go and these are my odds and like this is what I'm doing and
Well, you get to pick your attribute points and everything.
yeah,
you
when
get-
they
you
did
get
that, I was
to-
just like, ooh, that's really cool.
It is-
You get implants. I'm
Yeah,
so
it
excited
is-
for like
it's
hacker
Shadowrun.
implants.
So
Yeah.
like I mean, basically,
and I like that your class changes. Like you don't have
It's
to
a
like
yeah.
be like. I was like,
That's
oh,
cool.
that's cool. I'm
That's
like, which makes me go. I'm like, okay, the same thing I had with GTA that I didn't play. It was like, there's no way to play the game like being like as like not evil as possible. Where because like in GTA, my thing was it's like, okay, there's a mission where you have to steal a car. Is there a way where I could, you know, like because they had the
Boost, like
stock market thing where you could scam money that way. I was like, can I use my money from that where I didn't kill anybody but I still did a crime to go just buy the car? Like
that's not stealing.
right,
Yeah.
but it's just like the mission is get this car to go do a thing, and like the game won't let you do that. I'm hoping like this game has like similar things where it's just like, can I do things like and still like sneak around and do like missions without necessarily like having a death count? Like
Right.
is that like, and can that be the challenge? Because that would be fun for me. Or
don't-
is it just like a straight up like, no, these are like kind of set in stone?
I think it's
things?
going to be more like Skyrim in the sense that you're still going to have to kill your way through most things, but like you don't have to. You gain points. You don't pick a class. You just gain points
I mean-
in whatever you're doing. The more you do it,
right.
One of the other suspicious descriptions I read, because they're like, NPCs will change their mood depending on the weather. You can also hit them with a car. Like, it was just added in a sentence, and it was
Oh,
like,
man.
that will change their opinion of you.
yeah, that must come up a bunch. Like, so there might be murder in this.
Oh Oh no! Like I mean, there was definitely.
Oh
like,
yeah,
the
I
beginning
mean
of
that
watching-
might be.
Murdering NPCs?
Yeah.
Oh, is that what you're asking?
No, just as a general, like I would like an open world game where it's open world in such a way where it's just like, oh, I could actually attempt to be like a lawful good person,
Right.
like
There
where
are
you're not like
some
end
games
up
like
in
that.
like a. You're like, oh, if you're gonna do this mission, your only option at some point is to do this like killing
Right.
or something. Like give
Which
me
is,
a
of
way
course,
to like.
You
Mind
can
you,
do
it might
that
be really hard.
if you play GTA Online. You can do that when you do the role playing
that's not the
servers.
same.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you could be a cop and drive around looking for crimes.
That's not the
Yeah.
same.
Did you move on?
Yeah.
Move on to
to-
some stories?
some news stories. This was funny because the details you put in, it's such a hilarious difference from the headlines.
That's
versus
why
the
I put
details.
it in there.
Because the
it's like,
headline is Darren Aronofsky is producing a VR film about space. When I heard that, I was like, I don't know if I want to be engulfed in that. But he just, like, they're like,
producing it.
Darren Aronofsky is like space VR, and it's like, he's producing it. He's
producing
one
it.
of the producers.
yeah.
It's actually, I mean, you explain it because you wrote it.
Oh, I got to open the notes up.
Oh, sorry. It's this lady Eliza McNitt, and
Yeah.
it's narrated by three women, and it seems like it's very like it's very like women centric, and
it feels
all the
like it's
headlines are like, look
Cosmos.
at this thing, Darren
It
Aronofsky.
Kinda,
feels like
yeah.
it's like you're gonna watch Cosmos, but you're gonna be
Yeah.
in VR and you're gonna get to interact
You're
with the
gonna be
planets.
in space.
Well, I've been-
And they talk. What won me over was them talking about like how the soundtrack is gonna be like it's like really detailed and interactive with what you're doing with learning about space. And I'm like, oh, okay, well
And
that's
it's
cool.
I think it's the person who scored Stranger Things, right? And
Yeah.
I fucking love that soundtrack.
Yeah, and so it's like, oh, okay. And then like when they said it was just like, and the I forgot who said it, but they're like, I liked Cosmos and having all these documentaries and stuff talking about space, but it's all dudes.
Yeah.
I would like to hear space being talked about by women with several generations. And I was just like, oh, this is great. I would
Yeah.
love to sit in a room with the little VR,
the VR
things
goggles.
going through space and having like these women just talk about how the stars are awesome and black holes and
Yeah.
all this. I'm like, oh man, that's gonna be rad.
I've been playing a game called Megaton Rainfall. Terrible name, but
I don't,
it's
that could literally be anything.
well, all right. You've seen me
I've
play it a
seen you
little
play it,
bit.
yeah.
I want
But
that
the
on a
beauty of this
t-shirt.
game, and it's like it reminds me of this, is that you play a god. It's VR, and you're flying over the Earth, and you're fighting aliens, and that sounds like, okay, that's the least fun part. What happens is that so you can fly at like, light speed around the Earth, and you go into cities, and you can accidentally blow up buildings, or purposely, which is what I do. But like they penalize you for killing humans. But then eventually you start to like find these crystals and stuff that give you powers, and they give you the ability to just go into space.
Oh.
And it's a VR game, and you're just floating around space, and you can go to the moon, you can go to Mars, you can go to all these planets. The graphics aren't great. You can leave the galaxy and go to alien planets.
Oh, that's
And it's like
rad.
this giant, it was deceptively huge. And suddenly I'm just like in VR, a god floating through space.
That's
And it was like,
amazing.
I need to get high right now. But it's similar to this. It was my only problem is I wish it had slightly better graphics. And so like this sounds like
It sounds like
that.
let's watch Cosmos, or like going to what you call it when you go to it's like
Planetarium?
Yes.
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I think of the Boston Museum had something called the Omni Theater, which was like it's like a planetarium.
Yeah,
dome,
and you
but
go
it's
and
all
you
like a
lay back,
screen.
like all the chairs lay back, and you just watch this cool light show. I'm like,
Yeah.
Basically,
hell
yeah. It's just it's that.
Yeah, and that's the beauty. I think this is what VR is best for, I think. Because playing games isn't that great on VR. It's more fun for like almost like a meditative experience of like, I want to float through space. Like that's sounds great.
Mhm.
Yeah, that'd be pretty dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm into this.
Yeah. I'm pro this.
What's the next story?
Next story is hey, did you hear Alec Baldwin's going to be in the Joker movie? No, he's not.
No, he isn't.
For like 2 days, Alec Baldwin was playing Thomas Wayne.
Yeah, he's playing Bruce Wayne's dad in the Joker movie,
And then-
the Todd Phillips one with Joaquin Phoenix. And
Yeah.
then, nope. Like, he just pulled
For a
out of it.
split I just realized I'm like, oh yeah, for a split second I did think I saw like a picture of that, and I was just like, Why do we need Bruce Wayne's dad to be a actual...
Unclear.
I think what happened was because the quote from Alec Baldwin when he pulled out is he said, like, yeah, they can get like 50 actors, different actors to play this. I think what happened, he was like, yeah, I'll be in it. And then he looked at the script and it was like, oh, I get shot in one scene and that's it? Okay, never mind. Like, I'm pretty sure it's that. I think it's he thought it was a bigger role or something.
Yeah.
Or he looked at internet and everybody was like, why is Alec Baldwin doing this? And he's like, yeah, why is Alec Baldwin doing this?
Well, they were saying stuff like in this version, like Thomas Wayne's been reimagined as more of a Trump type character.
Oh, that's even...
So maybe like, and then everybody was like, fuck that. So maybe he saw that and was like, well, people don't like my Trump impression.
Maybe. I'm wondering though, like to leave a project this fast, it seems like he must have like...
Or
something came up.
Or just maybe it wasn't actually set in stone. Like someone was just like, oh, we're talking to this guy. And he was just like, I was never... I was like barely maybe considering it. And he was just like, yeah.
Like a miscommunication through his agent or something where he was like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, yeah. Like they jumped the gun announcing it or something.
Yeah,
maybe.
I feel like that's probably more likely.
Yeah.
Something didn't get signed in time.
Yeah. Or he heard how much they were going to pay him. And he was
Would you guys ever want to play like any of the Waynes? Like,
sure. I'll play like fucking Jake Wayne.
Jake Wayne is
Jake
somebody?
Wayne? No, I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
Just like a random Wayne, you mean?
Yeah, just like a random Wayne. Or the parents. Or his like, would you want to be...
Fuck yeah, I'll be Thomas Wayne. I'll get shot in the chest.
I mean, we just gave some executive an idea. They're gonna roll out a new CW show of Jake Wayne.
Jake Wayne, yeah.
Yeah, the cousin of Batman.
Yeah.
God, you think... I know, like, he only has, like, one actual son that he didn't adopt, Damian
Wayne, yeah.
But I honestly think Bruce Wayne has way more kids out there.
There's a Damian Wayne.
Oh, yeah.
That's so close to Damon Wayne.
I know.
Yeah,
That's Wayne's. Yeah,
it's his kid with Talia.
Al Ghul.
So he's like a little demon child. Like he's not an actual demon, but he's a little hellion.
He's
like as an actual like
right.
No, he has to like.
I mean,
he has to teach him like not to murder people.
If you're Batman's son, you've already have the cards stacked against you.
And he does not get along with Dick Grayson for a good chunk of time.
Well, he thinks he's supposed to kill Dick Grayson so that he can become Robin, right? Isn't that the storyline?
And then I think at some point, like this is before they retconned everything, but for a little while when Batman was like gone. And Dick Grayson became Batman. He started raising Damian's because they wanted the parallel of like adopting it.
Yeah.
And like it's a fun like storyline because it's just like Dick Grayson was like the charming, nice one that everyone likes, and he's just raising this little hellion child who's just like, please just no, we're not gonna kill people and all this stuff, and him just being like this little brat, like, you're not my dad.
You're not my real dad. I want to stab people.
That sounds delightful.
Yeah.
It's a lot of good fan art of that French, like, I guess they're brothers. Yeah, they're brothers.
Yeah.
Essentially.
I guess so.
But yeah, I definitely believe Batman has way more kids out there.
Hey, Bruce Wayne.
Oh yeah, he's been fucking his way around the world.
He's been fucking his way around the globe for decades now.
Yeah.
Just dropping a few kids in every continent.
I want that series.
Yeah, all of Batman's kids.
Yeah. Oh man.
Just not realizing it.
Not realizing it, or just like people just being like, or Alfred's the one who's been actually paying the child support for all these kids for
Bruce
all
doesn't
this time.
notice because he never looks at his bank account.
I feel like it'd be more interesting if Superman slept around, because then there'd just be a bunch of super kids. Well, he has one super kid in Batman, and not Superman Returns. Superman Returns.
Oh, the movie. Okay.
Yeah.
He has a super kid.
Yeah, and we all remember how good that plot line was.
I love that movie. That stupid movie.
It is a stupid movie.
It is. James Marsden, he murdered Cyclops to be in that movie.
Yep, he bowed out of... I mean, he might have made the correct decision.
Yeah.
X-Men 3.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
But there was
It
no
was basically
good choice
Bryan
there.
Singer, like, I'm taking you with me, James.
Yeah. So yeah, Alec Baldwin's not going to get shot in the Joker movie.
Right. Also, Bryan Singer's a good transition into the next news story, which is about Woody Allen.
Yep.
Who is having trouble getting film financed. It only took 40 years.
Womp womp.
Only took 40 years of people talking about
it. The association, I think, like that's really what it is. I I think if people thought they could get away with being in a Woody Allen movie now, they would still do it.
No,
but now
what
he's finally tainted.
Yeah, it comes down to money. It comes down to his last film bombed, so studios are like, "Nah, it's not a good bet anymore." And it bombed, I think, because finally people were like, "No."
Well, they even tried to when they marketed it. If you like, it was called Wonder Wheel.
Yeah.
They left his name off of it.
Yeah.
They were really trying to like push this. It's not Woody Allen, but it's like this is like 2 years ago. Like the Amazon signed like a huge like 5-movie deal with Woody Allen.
Not smart.
And it was like. Nope. First of all, the man's 82 now. So at the time, like, the dude is 80.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how you think you're going to get 5 fucking home run movies out of this dude.
Well, you know what it is the other news about this is the reason why it's significant. This is going to be the first year since like 82 he hasn't made a movie. He makes a movie.
He's made a movie every year?
All the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like a hobby of his. He's like has a condition or something where he
does have a condition.
Yes.
Oh my God. I think I've only seen one of his movies and it was just one of those where like
yeah.
Oh, okay. And then I was just like, I didn't like this movie.
He's all right. Some of them are good. None of them are worth seeing considering who he is.
Right.
You know?
Like the world would almost not be any different without any of his movies.
Yeah. I think my grandma liked him, and I think he was, that generation liked him a lot. Because his early stuff was like, noteworthy for what it was at the time. But yeah, his newer stuff, I don't know.
Also, a lot of the actors involved in the movie are like completely giving away all the money they took for
like,
it.
Yeah, this is a mistake. Here's
should have done that.
There was a time where it was special to be in a Woody Allen film, and then finally this caught up with him. It's insane because people have known about it for so long, and it just people didn't care
because he was still making money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think a lot of it is what Star was saying, where it's like Woody Allen is such like this, quote unquote legendary figure, for better or for worse, that it's like if you're an actor and it's like, hey, you want to, your agent's like, you can do a part in this Woody Allen movie, you probably would be like, you would
take it because you're like, oh man, this will get me recognition. And there wasn't enough people going, you're really working with that creep? And it'd just be like, but my paycheck though. And now it's finally, it has flipped to the point where it's just like, the paycheck's not worth this.
Yeah.
It's like finally people are kind of going like poo-pooing on Scarlett Johansson because of like
because she keeps taking all
these roles.
Finally.
And like she was in a shit ton of Woody Allen movies, and it was just like fine. And it's just kind of like, hey,
did you see?
Gonna catch up to you.
It wasn't the Onion. I think it was like one of the other satirical sites did Scarlett Johansson to play first Black James Bond. That was funny.
Perfect.
I'm glad people are feeling shame.
Yes.
Yeah, they
I'm
should.
just being like, okay.
I'm glad the studios are, because it's that thing that the only thing that'll affect them is like money.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that that's actually mattering now, that like people aren't seeing.
Right, because like Amazon, it says in the article like
they're obligated to release it.
It says they're obligated to release it, but they're saying like it might never come out, and they may be looking to like end that contract, so they're going to eat a shitload of money breaking that contract.
They can afford it.
They can afford it, but it's like they're I'm just to add to your point where it's like they're going to actually like spend more money to sever this relationship.
But they know that in the end it'll make them more popular.
Right.
Yeah, it'll make them more popular, and like other people who wouldn't have worked with them out of principle because people are sticking to their principles,
right,
will be willing to work with them if they like
my prediction
2016 they made this
my prediction is that we'll just see a bunch of quietly released Amazon Prime movies.
Yeah,
that is just
without
like
Woody's name on it.
Yeah,
and so you click on it in like 2 minutes and you're like directed by Woody Allen. Like what?
Yeah, exactly. Like I think that's
how dare you.
How long does a movie have to be considered a film?
Shit, I knew
70 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it'll be like 70 minutes of like just random.
I think that's right.
Something that I remember hearing about this with the movie Clerks, because Clerks is pretty short.
Well, The Lion King is like literally 70 minutes.
Yeah, where like they're trying to hit like a point to count as it.
I feel like Clerks is a full 90.
Yeah, it might be 90 actually. I don't remember. Okay, well, speaking of, let's see if I can segue. Oh, speaking of streaming services, There we go. The opposite is happening for Netflix than what Amazon's going
They're
through.
fucking
'Cause
drowning in
Netflix-
filmmakers.
I was going to put this in a movie that deserved more hype because I hadn't heard this was happening, but they're releasing a Coen Brothers Western in November.
Yeah.
That's
sounds cool.
soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it called?
The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
That sounds like a Coen Brothers movie.
Yeah, it does.
Scrubs.
Really does.
Yeah, and it's got people in it. I forget who.
Also,
so-
go ahead.
Oh, so Netflix is releasing an Alfonso Cuarón movie, a
I
Coen
heard
Brothers
about that.
movie, and an Orson Welles movie.
Yeah.
Like, they're really going for the
They're
awards.
like, take us seriously.
They're like,
Yeah.
Academy, here's an Orson Welles movie,
Yeah.
motherfuckers.
but the Orson Welles movie,
Dicks.
they're not doing theater release first, are they?
I think they
it's at
did.
it's at
Yeah.
festivals. Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Well, good on them.
Yeah.
I really want to see Orson Welles win Best Director.
Yeah.
It's just-
Oh my god.
Well, like
It's
buried
so
in that story that you put in there is they're also releasing a Paul Greengrass movie.
Right, yeah.
Like, they're just like
Fucking maniacs.
scooping up people who make theatrical films.
But again,
I love it because it's them going to these people going like, hey, do you finally want to not be restricted by studios? Do you want to just make the thing that you want to make? Make it for us.
That's the thing, is that a lot of the directors did this before Netflix even came to them. I've probably commented on this before. Francis Ford Coppola is still making movies. We just don't know because he makes them super independent. And like, I think he hasn't made one in a few years,
Mhm.
but like, he's been making movies. Like, and it's just because there's an interview with him and he was just like, yeah, I couldn't handle the studio system. So I just started using my own money. and
Fucking maybe next year we'll see a Coppola
Using-
movie on
using my
Netflix.
That'd be
using my
dope.
sweet.
Yeah.
He made a movie with Val Kilmer, a vampire movie with Val Kilmer in like 2013, and I own it. Yeah,
Oh,
called
shit.
Twixt. It is weird. And Val Kilmer is it's real weird. Val Kilmer plays like a author, like a Stephen King type author who goes to this town to investigate
Vampires.
some murders or something, and he gets entangled with vampire stuff.
Mm.
okay.
It's fucking weird.
All right.
Yeah, it was one of those where it's like, wait, Coppola's making a movie with Val Kilmer,
And it's
like,
about vampires?
Yeah, what is going on? And like, fucking, I just watched Unsane, which is Soderbergh shot a movie entirely on an iPhone,
yeah.
and it's a really good movie.
And that came out in theaters.
Did it? Oh yeah, it
Yeah,
did.
they were like
but it's
billboards
still
around town for
Soderbergh is one of those people who also kept saying like, yeah, I'm going super low budget because I don't want. It's the idea is go low budget so the studios aren't like, hey, can you also put this in
Yeah,
it?
can you also
Yeah.
put like a talking dog? in it?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
fuck you.
No,
Yeah,
no, no.
I just like that Netflix at least seems to go like, look, just make the cool content. Here's the money.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
And that's neat. That's real neat. I mean, at some point, I feel like that's probably gonna stop.
Well,
Yeah.
as long as studios keep doing what they're doing, Netflix, there'll be a place for Netflix because Netflix is basically the new Miramax, it feels like. They're the new, like, hey, are you tired of big fucking blockbuster superhero movies? We have, like, indie, nice, normal.
And yeah,
like,
And the thing they're not necessarily producing all these films. Like what they do a lot of times
Yeah,
is
they
they
just
just
buy
buy a
them.
film to
Yeah.
distribute it.
and they're.
So it's not
and-
spending that much
No,
money.
but they're spending money on marketing, which
Yeah.
is why it works, because as opposed to like direct to DVD films,
Yeah.
this is like they're treating it like it's a big deal. They're not like hiding it. They're proud of these movies.
Mhm.
So yeah, like all the good filmmakers are, I think, moving over to, because Amazon's also gotten a few good
Yeah.
ones. I mean, I heard they just got Woody Allen, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But
Well, they got Woody Allen. They also got fucking Manchester by the Sea.
yeah, got
Solid.
that Manchester.
They did get The Big Sick.
Yeah, The Big Sick is great. Yeah.
So 1 out of 3 isn't bad
Yeah.
for old,
But yeah,
for
this
old
is
Amazon.
how things are going to go. It is a shame that, like what Ganser said on, I think, the last Hypecast, that like these are movies that are fun. Like I'd rather see in
in
theaters.
a theater.
I'd rather see Orson Welles' new movie in a
I
fucking
mean, you're
theater.
in the city at least that you know
Right.
these will be here.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
going to see them here of
if
all
they-
the places.
If they're gonna play Orson Welles' lost movie in a theater, it'll be here somewhere.
Yeah, it's definitely ultimately a
They
good
said it was
thing.
like the landmark. Which ones are the landmarks? Is that the one that was like,
That's
On
where we were
Pico,
last night.
Yeah.
okay, is that the only one or is it
There's a few.
think there's a
around
few,
here.
yeah.
okay? Because I was like that particular day, I was like, this feels
Netflix-
like, it's like a
yeah,
nowhere.
Netflix-
What theater is this?
I think that's the Netflix that the theater chain that Netflix wants
They
to
wants to
buy.
buy?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the most good this will do, because I remember, because I lived in like before I was here, I was in like a pretentious college town where there was like an indie movie theater
Mhm.
next to an indie video store, so I
Yep.
could see really weird fucking obscure things.
Yeah, same.
What Netflix is doing is making that pretentious ass process available for everybody. And I guess Amazon is doing that. That's like the one benefit of fucking these streaming services is that if you're not in a place that's necessarily has these things, you have it now.
Yeah.
And that's nice.
The few parts of the future that are like, oh, this is good.
I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Although
appreciate that.
Yeah.
What we got next?
Matt Smith is going to be in Star
Oh yeah,
Wars.
Matt Smith is going to be in a Star Wars.
What is
That's
what's
cool.
Matt Smith?
He's Doctor Who.
He's a Doctor Who.
Oh, I don't care.
He's
Oh,
a
he was in the
doctor.
Terminators.
He was in the Terminator.
The Terminator's Genesis.
There's they haven't said what character he's playing, but he's got to be a bad guy, right?
I
'Cause,
hope
like,
he's a
Oh,
Terminator.
I hope not.
Well, I mean, he's a dapper British skeleton,
But
and
he's
that's
like
what they
a
always.
Yeah.
But he's a beloved doctor.
That's
No, they're
true.
going to put a Nazi hat on him.
Yeah,
and
they're gonna
just,
stick him in a Nazi.
He's
hat.
also the voice of Scrooge McDuck in the new
Huh.
Is he really?
DuckTales cartoon, and he's a fan.
Is he good at it?
He's Scottish. It's just
Oh, I didn't
Right.
know that.
it's just so good. It's so good.
Solid.
Wait, unless I'm mixing up my doctors. What
I
are
don't
the
know,
other
man.
ones' names?
Oh, you might be mixing him up because isn't
I'm mixing up I think I'm mixing up my doctors.
well no, David Tennant is British, right? Or is he Scottish?
who can say?
God, it might
David
be David
Tennant was
I
the
think
Purple Man.
Okay, I did mix them up. David Tennant is
David Tennant is- okay.
Scrooge McDuck because he's
Yeah,
Scottish.
okay.
I was just like, wait a second, I don't think Matt Smith was Scottish. So sorry,
all right.
please don't come after me, Doctor Who fans.
It's fine. Whovians. What you call
Yeah,
them? Okay.
I mixed them up. I haven't watched since the last
I need
last
to-
one,
I need to watch.
the old one, because I was like, okay. And also like the schedule is always weird, and I'm like, I can't figure out when to watch these legally. So,
Anyway, I just threw that in there.
Yeah. Neat.
Also, Dominic Monaghan is going to be in it.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, my favorite Hobbit.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
Wait, which Hobbit was he?
He's Mary.
Yeah, he's also like
Oh,
my favorite
yeah,
Lost
yeah,
character
yeah.
too. So I'm just
Lost,
like,
yeah.
oh, you're great.
Good
Even
for
though, like,
him.
I feel like in
You
real life he's
love
probably
everybody.
yeah.
Glad he's getting work.
I feel weird. I feel like he's one of those people where I'm like, I love your characters, but maybe in real life I'm not sure if you're actually a nice person. But I love the characters you play. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he's a lovable character in Star Wars.
Hopefully. Why else would you cast him?
Yeah.
Because he only seems to play those kinds of roles.
Oh, he could be creepy.
problem
if he
with-
wanted
That's
to.
true, yeah,
He
yeah.
could,
Think
like he had like
He's in
there's
that movie
moments
Pet.
there's moments in Lost too when he's like on his like his little evil streaks.
Oh,
There's-
yeah.
Where you're like, oh, okay, I could see it. You could be a
Yeah,
little
you're a
demon.
little douche hammer.
There's no telling with the Star Wars because like they
That's
could
true.
just make him a CGI fucking character.
No, I
That's
you
hope
don't know.
not. I want more
Who can
real
say?
people. I do.
When
love
I
the
heard like
CGI
Simon
characters,
Pegg
eh.
was doing a cameo, I was like, cool. And they're like, and here's him behind a giant costume. And it was like, what was the point of this? I think it was. I mean, I feel like that's when at least for the early Star Wars, there was celebrities just like, hey, can I jump in there?
Yeah,
and they're like, yeah, come in.
Didn't James Bond?
Yeah,
be a
Daniel Craig's the
stormtrooper?
stormtrooper.
Yeah.
I guess Joseph Gordon-Levitt and
Oh, yeah. I just.
Ryan Johnson's because
I
he
just-
puts him in everything.
Yeah, I just learned that he's in it.
Yeah.
Wait, what? What was he in it?
He was in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, I think he was cut. I think he's in a cutscene because he's in every Ryan Johnson film. So
Oh, okay.
you know what's a cameo
Good
that
for
I
him.
learned about not too long ago, and I don't know if we discussed it. You know who's in Deadpool too, right?
It's Matt Damon.
Matt
right?
Damon. Yeah,
Wait,
I
what?
missed. I heard this, but I didn't see. Who is he in Deadpool 2?
the part where Cable goes. Did you see Deadpool 2?
No, but
Oh, There's a part
eventually.
where Cable, when he goes to the future and he's in like a random field, and there's two rednecks talking about toilet paper.
Yeah.
Matt Damon's one of the rednecks. Apparently, have so many prosthetics. People on set didn't know it was him.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Because that's I was wondering because that's an extended bit
yeah,
between two characters that we never see again.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I like the bit because my favorite part about that is Cable casually throwing his gun in the truck
yeah.
before he even approaches them because he just knows like
He
I'm
knows
going
I'm
to
going to steal this truck.
Yeah.
Oh,
I watched
man.
that again. That's a fun.
It's
that's
a good
fun
movie,
Man, Matt Damon is a generally a likable person, but every once in a while he just like
He
puts
says
his
some dumb
foot-
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, he said something this week too.
Oh, did he?
Okay.
Yeah, he
Damn
was-
it, Matt Damon.
I only remember the headline, so I didn't read the article, so I don't know how.
You got to read the
accurate.
article before you cast judgment.
Yeah, but the headline was apparently something about him suggesting that maybe gay people don't come out so that they could get more acting roles or something along those lines.
Well, I think that's true.
Yes.
That's definitely true.
But I think
was he suggesting that they do that?
He was suggesting that they do that. Was
Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Man,
but that's, mind you, that was me reading a headline. I didn't read the article. There could be more context to it. However,
it's that thing with them
that he seems to put his foot in his mouth when it comes to like people of like minorities in general, and disenfranchised folks.
Yeah,
I don't want to be like, I guess, like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, like being from Massachusetts, they're just two like dudes from Boston.
Yeah,
and I feel like I've met them a million times.
Ben Affleck especially is 10,000% just a guy from Boston.
So it's not forgiving them, but it's just funny to me that it's like, man, they probably shouldn't open their mouths too much.
These two fucking townies.
Yeah, like if I were their publicist, I'd be like, hey, maybe don't talk in interviews.
Don't talk.
They're
about
trying.
They
feel they feel like they're trying, but they're not. It's not.
I want to go back and actually read the article, but I just remember it was like one of those, like I'm passing it on Twitter. I was just like, oh, okay, I'm not surprised, and then just moving on.
Yeah, like with the, I mean,
the less sympathetic one there is of course Mark Wahlberg, who has committed hate crime.
Oh,
so it's
Mark
like
Wahlberg,
fuck him,
Beat
but
a
it's
man
the same
blind.
deal that he's just like a
he's
dude
racist.
from Boston. Yeah. Who's like, yeah, I would have stopped 9/11, and it's just
like, oh jeez,
yeah, bro, I'll stop 9/11. Get me in that tower. I'll jump out of the top room. I'll catch the airplane. I'll land it myself.
Oh my god,
I can do that.
It's ridiculous.
What do we have next?
We have movies that deserve.
Yeah, Dave, tell us a movie that deserves more hype.
This is called Trench 11.
I was so mad at you.
I know. I'm very sorry.
Yeah.
It is Canadian.
Did you watch this without reading his comment first?
I saw the link, and then because I didn't see it highlighted, because the way these guys have their stuff set up, it's a shared document, and then everybody color codes their responses. So I didn't see your color coded response,
right? But
I did see "Sorry Star" because I didn't see your name.
Yeah,
I saw that and I was just like, "Is this referencing this link or is this something else?" Because it's all like in a section, and I was like, okay, I'll take that to mean it's for this link. I will go into it with that. And then as it was progressing, I was just like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. And then I think I skipped ahead. I was like, I can't. And then I skipped ahead and saw worms and eyeballs. And I was like, God damn it.
Yeah, you did.
And then I wrote just Dave with a sad face.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It was that thing of I knew you were going to be on this. So I was like, trying to look for a non-horror movie, and then I came upon this movie. And
the past several that you've put in here have been non-horror.
Yeah, I try to skip it because I lean towards horror, so I try to be aware of that.
Visually, through the trailer, as much as I do not like horror movies, it was like, okay, I can see why someone who likes horror would enjoy this movie.
This is sweet.
If you don't like worms coming out of orifices, which
it's not for you.
It's not for you.
Not for you.
This is a Canadian film. It's been in a few festivals. I don't know when exactly it's coming out. I assume we'll see it on streaming. The reason I picked it was because that J.J. Abrams movie Overlord is coming out, which it looks okay, but it's just Nazi zombies, and it feels like it's 5 years.
It's way too
maybe
late.
even a decade too late.
Yeah, and everyone's over zombies, right?
Yeah, Nazi zombies especially.
Certainly Nazi zombies, yeah.
So Trench 11 takes place in World War One. It has 100% Rotten Tomatoes, but it only has a handful of reviews. And I've seen mixed reviews from National Review and so on. And the director was a PA for Cronenberg, and he trained to be an assistant director at one point also. And he's very inspired by Cronenberg.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah. And so this movie, it's about a bunker. It's the end of World War One, and the Allies are looking at this German bunker to try to find out what's in it. And it's buried 100 feet deep, and they find a hospital. And it turns out there's some fucking worm disease that makes the people violent.
It's like a parasite virus growth.
It's very similar to The Thing, which is... So it's a more original version of Nazi zombies because, it's World War One and it's not
chemical weapons
zombies.
Experimenting.
Yeah, it's a little more grounded.
And it's the worms look like little fucking angel hair pasta.
They do.
Squirming in and out of their eyes.
God, it looked like if you ever see like maggots or something growing out of something but
Yeah.
skinnier, and like
longer.
and they move like when you see time-lapse videos of fungus growing,
Yeah.
like it has that aesthetic. I only literally saw like not even a second of this, and I remember all this detail because that's
The last shot of the
It's
trailer is
awful.
what, like, I was watching it, I was like, oh, maybe, I don't know. And then the last shot was just like, all right. Jesus. So people should definitely Google Trench 11 if they want to see some crazy worm
If
shit.
you want to see some fucked up shit.
Ugh,
Yeah.
so gross.
It looks cool. I like the aesthetic.
Yeah.
I like the idea of because World War I's creepy. Trench warfare is creepy.
Yeah, it is.
And then we have this.
Yeah. There was another movie, I forget what it's called, that took place entirely in trenches, and I think it beat the movie Russian Ark for the longest continuous shot. I forget. It was very indie. That's why I can't forget it. I can't remember it. But like, yeah, trenches is a interesting setting.
Yeah.
Very intense. Very claustrophobic. So it's,
Yeah.
Do we still do trench warfare? Is that
No.
still?
No. I mean, I do.
Yeah.
But
Their trenches dug all over Dave's
Mhm.
apartment.
yeah.
Mike thought those are just cat holes.
Yeah. That's the same
Well, they
thing.
can
Cat
be.
holes. Yeah. Gotta have a few cat holes if you're gonna have cats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where else are they going to go?
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
So, yeah.
I'm trying to think of now that you have all these historical movies based on like these like situations. I'm wondering like in the future when they try to do war movies about our time, how boring they're probably going to be because it's going to be all drones.
Drones and, yeah.
No,
there's
they
not
do.
really-
They do war movies about our time now.
Yeah.
starring Mark Wahlberg or somebody. Like, I don't know. It's just going to be that movie American Sniper or
Oh, yeah, I
whatever.
did watch that.
Yeah,
It was
that was man. Clint's got to get his shit together. Clint.
that movie.
if you're
I wish they
listening-
would have focused more on the PTSD aspect, and I think it would have been a really like
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
impactful movie. But they didn't, and it was kind of like
It was
alright.
2 movies. It was the second half was sort of that, and the first half was like, yeah, war. Like it's like a war adventure in the first half.
Yeah,
And then it's a PTSD, and it was like, make up your mind movie.
it just I would have wanted more PTSD stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
Kind of like
Because he was murdered by
Exactly.
another soldier who had PTSD that he was trying to help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it like sort of ends of them just like, yeah, you ready to go shooting? And they leave, and it's just like, huh.
yeah. No,
And
Way to go, Clint.
Yeah, Clint, get your shit together. That's another movie, just going all the way back to this the First Man movie, is that his fucking Sully movie.
Yeah.
It was another case of like, man, I know this story, Clint.
Yeah, well, I mean, Sully happened like
It
5
just
years ago.
happened, yeah.
Like,
Get it together, Clint.
chill out, Clint. Let's end on that.
Yeah.
Oh man, now I'm just thinking about Sully. Like, oh man, he did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still an incredible like holy shit. You did not crash a plane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
no,
true.
it's cool.
That's amazing. I remember seeing people take like pictures from their phone
Yeah.
leaving the plane. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, you did that.
Oh, it was
God
recent
damn, that
enough.
was great.
It was recent enough that we all followed that on Twitter as it was happening.
Yeah, I was like,
Like-
oh man, that was a great Twitter
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, it was good. That was a good Twitter day.
Real quick, I think I want to sell shirts that are like fluorescent and say "Chill Out, Clint" on them.
Chill out, Clint.
And like a
I could
picture of like a
design that
pizza
for
with
you.
sunglasses.
Definitely, yeah, we want to do that. I want to do Scarecrow as a jobs creator for Tom and Jeff.
Oh, okay, that'd be great.
Yeah, we should make shirts.
Yeah, let's make some
Yeah.
shirts.
All right. We'll
All right,
make
everybody,
shirts,
we're
you
making
guys.
shirts.
Send us your shirt.
You heard it
ideas.
here. Yeah.
Star, what do you want us to plug?
My webcomic, Ruby Whipple, rubywhipple.com, Ruby spelled with an I. Please go visit it and read it.
I just
and
caught
take
up.
off your ad blocker if you do. That would be that would be really helpful. I could get a couple pennies for your time. But
Nice.
please enjoy that comic.
I just caught up. It was really good.
Yay!
Hey,
Yeah.
scumbags, take your ad blockers off.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. It's just me and my buddy Spencer. It's just us.
Yeah.
If it's something you want to support, just turn your ad blocker off for that. Leave it on for whatever else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Literally
yeah, no,
pennies. We're
bullshit.
not making
No,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
it is.
just-
I got a payment from CD Baby the other day for like streaming and downloads and stuff. It is a line item list of like thousands of pennies. Like it's just like
Oh.
because you get like a penny for like certain X number
Yeah.
of minutes. So it's just like so the whole thing
Wow.
comes out to like $20.
Oh
But-
my
That's great.
god.
So yeah, you get paid very little
Yeah.
doing creative things unless you're like fucking
Oh yeah, I
Tom
remember when I
Cruise.
was doing like a nickel a word for like a
Yep.
company.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my
It was
god.
insane. I was literally like sending invoices of like, this is how many words I wrote.
Ugh.
Some of them were better than others, but they're all worth the same.
Some of them were the words and the.
Yep.
Oh my god.
It's a bad way to charge writers because then you
They
just
get
find
wordy, wordy.
Well, that's why Charles Dickens' books are so long, is because he got paid by the words.
Oh my god.
I was getting paid to write descriptions about granite companies, and one of the notes they gave back was just like, you have to always have a different way to do the descriptions. And it's like, I'm literally describing rocks here. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man. They're rocks.
They're fucking rocks, dude. You in the market for some rocks, bro?
Yeah.
Buy these rocks. They're hard.
And I would say, I guess, like public service, make sure you're registered to vote.
Yes.
Yeah,
do
vote.
that.
Just
Vote for
do
stuff.
that.
You can do it online most places.
But also just check, because there's places where they're like bumping people off their voter rolls, so you
Yep.
might be registered and then it turns out you're not. So just go check. There's resource. I don't know the resource online off the top of my head, but
Neither do
just
I, unfortunately.
but there are places that will help you figure out if you are registered to vote, and for free. Don't go to sites that like will charge you. There's scams.
Yeah, that's a
for
scam.
that.
Yeah.
But just make sure you're registered.
Yeah.
It's coming
just-
up soon.
It
Just
is very
vote
soon.
in general.
Yeah, vote early if you can.
Vote about like where you want to go for coffee. Vote, hold little votes.
Hold
Do
little
mail in.
votes.
Mail in. If you can
Mail-in
do
is the
mail in,
best, yeah.
it's so great. You get a little booklet in the
Yeah.
mail. They tell you all the things, like what's coming up, and at least in California, and I found out they do this in Florida too. You get a booklet that has all the amendments and proposals and who you're voting for, and normally there's a paragraph saying who's for it and a paragraph saying who's against it. So you get a nice little brief,
Oh yeah.
like
Well,
just on it, so you can make a informed decision too. And
yeah, you
Also-
can Google if you want to find more stuff.
Yeah. Also, you can be drunk because you're at home.
You can vote drunk.
Yeah.
Vote drunk. Just vote. Whatever you do.
yeah, please do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the mail. It's easy. All right. That's a show.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can follow him on Twitter at @thecorlew, Corlew, and find more music at shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our artwork is produced by Justin Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at @JustinTBrown, and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info. Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.